bringing you news and information from around the Pacific Command. This is your AFN Pacific Report.
Thanks for joining us on this edition of AFN Pacific Report. I'm Senior Airman Therese Garnier. The commander of U.S. Pacific Command testified before the Senate Armed Services Committee on Tuesday. Admiral Sam Locklear says with the tensions on the Korean Peninsula reaching their highest level in the 60 years since the war there ended, the United States and South Korea are prepared to defend against a North Korean attack, should one come.
Many of the activities that you've seen play out over the last month are a result of an exercise that we would do annually anyway. Normally at this time of year also, you will see in North Korea that they will go into their winter training cycle, and they will conclude that winter training cycle about the time that full legal finishes. So we have those two events happening at the same time. So when you lay on top of that the bellicose rhetoric that has come out of North Korea and the follow-on from the nuclear test and now the poor decisions it appears that he's making, each of these events that were rolled out at full legal start to take on a more significant strategic context. But they all, I think, demonstrate the strength of the alliance, demonstrate the defensive capabilities we build in the alliance, and demonstrate the deterrence capability of the forces that we bring together.
Admiral Locklear said China could play a larger role in helping to diffuse tensions on the peninsula, and he hopes they will decide to do so. U.S. Marines are in the jungles of the Philippines, learning from their Filipino counterparts how to live and fight off the land. The training is part of Exercise Balikatan.
We will show you some of the traps and snares that we have laid around this.
So we are teaching them how to survive in the jungle, the basic skills on how to survive in the jungle, like making traps, snares, and we also teach them how to find some indications that there were animals roaming the specific areas.
Yeah.
It's critical for us to be able to adapt and operate within the jungle itself. So this type of training gives us a big advantage in the area to operate and be successful and accomplish the mission.
Are very interesting. In the very first place, they're very interesting to know that stuff, especially the basic skills, making traps and snares, the making fires out of old bamboos. We cook rice. So for me, as what I have said, as what I have showed them, they are very much eager and interested to learn because they told me that they are not doing that way back home. So they really appreciate that stuff.
I'm going to do that when I get home.
Oh,
yeah.
We came from different places. We met different races. And this is one of the situations, was one of the time that we band together as one.
Speaking of military training, Misawa's 35th Fighter Wing conducted a base-wide readiness exercise to test the base's ability to respond to different scenarios.
Readiness is a part of any military. Exercises are conducted base-wide, testing the readiness of squadrons by evaluators.
What we like to do is we put together a lot of different scenarios and a lot of different squadrons and AMUs to see how they respond to certain injects and certain situations. We throw basically everything but the kitchen sink at them and see how they handle it, and they normally come out looking great.
Exercises like this one ensure that the entire wing can operate in a cohesive and effective manner.
I think this exercise shows that sense of urgency that we all need to practice, as well as what the intent of the exercise is, and that's to make sure that we're ready to rock.
Being ready to rock is essentially the most important aspect of an exercise. It also provides a unique opportunity for fresh arrivals.
This exercise is important for the new airmen coming in to Misawa Air Base to see how the 35th Fighter Wing exercises and how we are ready and capable. It's also important for these other people here to make sure that we get the necessary practice and hone our skills. That way we're ready to do it when we're called upon, whether it be here or somewhere else.
Seaman Gene Baker, Misawa Air Base, Japan.
A group of Korean Army cadets got their first taste of U.S. Army life during a visit to Camp Carroll.
Cadets from the Korean Army Academy at Yongchan visited 19th Expeditionary Sustainment Command soldiers to enhance community relations. The tour began in a field environment where the cadets received a brief from the 19th ESC Chief of Staff.
I have the staff in there.
By visiting here in Camp Carroll, we have seen many military bases around here, many military purpose vehicles, many camps, and we do now aware a little draft about how this facility will going to be used in a rare situation.
The cadets were given a tour of the camp and also got to take a look at some of the warehouses on Camp Carroll. Prior to touring the warehouses, the cadets got to experience their first American MRE.
Compared to Korean MRE, this one's a little more greasier than Korean MRE, but I do understand why it's so greasy, because in rare situation while in the field, they probably need more higher calories.
Although the cadets learned more about the U.S. Army, American soldiers also took something away from this first experience.
Appreciative that they are willing to come and see us and willing to participate in the American culture a little bit, or American Army traditions.
United States Army and South Korea Army has been a long friend-like relationship for a really long period of time, and we want to really continue the relationship.
Army Sergeant Rick Bush, Camp Carroll, Korea.
Coming up, Americans and Japanese celebrate the arrival of spring at Camp Zama. But first, let's take a look around the Pacific Command in today's Snapshots.
A sailor from USS Tortuga holds a child from a local orphanage during a community relations event in the Philippines. A Marine aims at a target from the back of an MV-22B Osprey during aerial gunnery training off the coast of Okinawa. A member of the Japanese Air Self-Defense Force gives airmen from Yokota Air Base a tour of Kamagaya Air Base. And that's a look around the Pacific Command in today's Snapshot.
Soldiers at Camp Casey formed up and headed out the gate, all to lend a hand to a local community cleanup effort.
On a gloomy morning, over 400 soldiers from the 2nd Infantry Division march out the Camp Casey main gate to the Sinchon River nearby. They're lending their services to the community by cleaning up the area. Community members come out to team up with the soldiers in an effort to keep the trail alongside the riverbed clean. Private First Class Dominic Busen chose to miss watching Michigan play in the NCAA tournament, but he has no regrets.
I see people out here laughing and joking, having a good time, and getting us away from work so much and having us help the community, so we're just feeling better about ourselves and just giving us a chance to relax and enjoy other people too.
Community members like Kang Duck Huang says when the locals see how hard the soldiers are working, there's a sense of gratitude silently expressed.
This is great for the community. I was out here for this event last year, and the turnout this year is even larger. It's great, and it makes me wish this was a quarterly event instead of yearly.
I think it makes them feel better. It makes them feel closer to us, and it gives us more of a reason to be here if we're actually helping someone too.
So, the next time you walk, jog, or bike next to the Sinchon River, take time to notice the hard work the 2nd ID soldiers put into cleaning up the area. Army Sergeant Ton Pham, Camp Casey, Korea.
Yokosuka's Naval Hospital is helping to educate community members about dealing with a disease that affects millions of Americans, including quite a few on base.
Diabetes is a disease that affects more than 26 million American adults and children, and Yokosuka Naval Hospital is reinforcing ways for patients to manage and maintain living with the disease as a part of Diabetes Awareness Month.
We're hoping to achieve better communications with the patients to understand the seriousness of the disease, and that working together with their healthcare provider as a team effort, we can achieve the common goal of good quality care and long life expectancy.
Diabetes is an incurable disease, but it can be managed with some changes to a person's daily lifestyle.
Basic steps where someone can manage diabetes is active exercising. We recommend at least 3 times a week with 30 minutes of cardio, weight management, and also following your nutrition guidance given to you by both your dietitian and your primary care provider.
We try our best to establish an individualized plan of care. And for those that do follow up regularly, there's been vast improvements in lifestyle as well as long-term outcomes for these individuals.
For more information about living with diabetes, ideas about different recipes and fitness routines, or to take a screening test, visit diabetes.org or talk to your healthcare provider. Petty Officer Brian M. Brooks, Yokosuka Naval Base, Japan.
We wrap up this newscast in Tokyo, where this past weekend, Camp Zama opened its gates to the public to celebrate the colorful arrival of spring.
Camp Zama's annual Cherry Blossom Festival was held recently on the installation, and more than 7,000 people from the U.S. military, the Japan Ground Self-Defense Force, and the Japanese community had the chance to experience each other's culture during the annual spring event.
The primary intent is to expose and provide an opportunity for our host nation to see what the U.S. community is all about and to show our appreciation for them being such wonderful hosts.
The event featured a variety of activities, such as youth and adult run and walk events, a flea market, live music, and street performance. The culmination of the festival was the second annual Pacific Boxing Showdown. The event featured 6 fights, including the Oriental and Pacific Boxing Federation's super welterweight title match.
I've never had the experience of coming to an event like this before, where you can celebrate at a festival with Americans, so this was really fun.
I felt like Camp Zama was a very distant world before I came to this event. But I found out that the people are very kind and the event is a lot of fun. And now I have this sense of closeness.
This year marks the 35th anniversary of Camp Zama's Cherry Blossom Festival.
We established the Cherry Blossom Festival to present a little bit of American culture, but to also honor Japanese culture at the same time. And it's the blending of those two cultures that makes events like these so wonderful.
Reporting for U.S. Army Garrison Japan Public Affairs, this is Dustin Perry.
That's it for this newscast. From all of us here at AFN Pacific, thanks for watching.